Hello, welcome to the channel and thanks for watching. Now, the footage you're seeing is not actually my current painting deck setup. This is video from a year ago when I bought the Greenstuffworld Hobby arch we're about to talk about. So I had a little kind of three-pronged stand to hold my phone while I was filming. You see the mat there. I had two of these £9 IKEA flexi lamps with some daylight bulbs in, and I had another armature for doing larger models if it was anything larger than just really a single miniature, because the stand, the little three-pronged stand I had, is very small to sort of put models in front of. So that was my desk setup, and that was my desk setup for a number of years, even pre doing a YouTube channel. Just those two lights, obviously without the armatures to hold a camera at that point. And it was getting slightly frustrating because the small three-pronged armature that I had was quite hard to get anything in front of that wasn't a very small model, and the large kind of flexi armature was a bit of a pain because it got in the way of your face and it was quite difficult to do. The other thing I found, especially doing YouTube videos, was getting the lighting consistent with those two flexi lamps, you know, the IKEA ones, because if you put them at a different angle you could get the shadows and the shades a bit different. So I wanted something consistent and something really a bit more designed for YouTubers. So I bought this system here. So I do love Greenstuffworld products. This isn't sponsored. And again, this was from a year ago. You've seen this build footage. So I've got a year's experience of really working with this to give you a proper sort of unbiased opinion of it. Now, it came in three parts. You see there, the plug socket you see on the right is just an adapter to take it from Europe to Britain. And they sell versions for all over the world, I am quite sure. The thing I'm building first is the streamer support kit, as they call it. Obviously, you would not need to do this if you're not doing YouTube filming or filming for any other purpose. But again, this is why I wanted this to have a solid, you know, system set up to make life easier for myself doing these videos. And it doesn't spend a lot of time making life easy for me pre-videos, but you know, any time saved getting ready for filming is more time that I can spend painting, etc. So it was a nice quick build, you know, a couple of minutes to put this thing together, and it's just a multi-positional kind of support that bolts on to the streamer lamp. Now, this kind of hobby arch, I have seen numerous versions of this prior to buying the Greenstuffworld one, you know, on Etsy or whatever. People are 3D printing them and then you have to go and buy your own light strip. I bought it from Greenstuffworld purely because I like the company. They do some really good stuff, and it was a little bit more expensive than buying it, you know, off Etsy or whatever. But sometimes actually buying it from a known company is just the easiest way of doing it. So direct from them. So we'll show the build, and again, this is sped up sort of 3 speed, but it was very, very easy. The instructions are really super clear, and it isn't overly difficult. Now, I suppose, why did I buy a kit, and why we're talking to you about kind of lighting and hobby desking? It's not something a lot of people think about, and a lot of people do, including some of my mates, just use a normal desk lamp with a normal bulb in it. But honestly, having the right lighting for painting your miniatures will make a real difference, because you use the incorrect kind of lighting and it makes the paint look funny, it reflects differently off your mixes, and then you'll take your model into daylight and it suddenly looks different and the blends don't look right or the highlights don't look right. Now, I am no lighting expert, but what I will tell you is getting the right lighting on your models will make a massive difference. And some of the I suppose the joy about buying a kit like this is that experts out there, far better than myself or you or I mean, maybe you are a lighting expert, so if you are, fantastic, you know, drop some comments down below and say what's the best. But I suppose the advantage of buying a pre-built kit like this is they are saying to you, look, this is what we have tested as a company and said, look, this is the ideal kind of lighting warmth, because there's lighting warmth, there's lighting the brightness. I'm not going to go into technicalities, but what I did enjoy about this is then getting you the right kind of level of light onto your models. Remember when I did the IKEA lamps, which was shown with the daylight bulbs in there, I did do a lot of research about what bulb to actually buy to make the models look better, and that took a lot of research, whereas buying this, I bought it, I trusted them, and actually I found the lighting to be, you know, very, very good. So you see, it's a fairly easy build when you're putting it together. Just think of your time. You see there, I tested where the light was going before I stuck it down. Just test that obviously before you do it. Follow the instructions, take your time, but this did take a total of maybe 10 to 12 minutes. Now, the principal reason again I set up with these lights is to not have the faff of the armatures and things going around everywhere. It did take up a lot of desk space, if that makes sense, having those armatures bolted on. I'm lucky enough that this desk is always left set up as a hobby desk, but I do use it when I work from home as part of my job, so I just slide my models out of the way, get a laptop out and do some work or do some gaming or whatever. So this room is not one that I have to dismantle everything, so I'm quite lucky in that sense. But I wanted something that I could move out of the way quite easily, and honestly, where I used to set up the light armatures, they got in the way when I was working from home. So this doesn't, it slides out the way to the other side of the desk quite easily, and I can just slide the model tray to the end, and I've got some workspace. So that was one of the ways. Just point to note here, these plastic things I'm putting in, these side plastics, fantastic. I get the point. They're there to, make it look pretty and keep the light arch in shape, I suppose. The tiny plastics you saw me sticking in before have all fallen out over the course of the year, and you'll see there the 3 or 4 of them in that kind of top arch over the lights. So I have no idea what they're for, haven't replaced them. Yeah, so Greenstuffworld, if you are watching this, what are they for? And why don't you just not put them in the boxes, because then you can save yourself some plastic. See, they're putting the nice soft pads on the bottom of the arch as well, and that's basically the assembly done. So yeah, I wanted a system I can move back and forward out of the way quite easy, and again, a way that I can just move something, clip a camera in, and not have to mess about all the time with getting the angles and the lighting right so there's no shadows, with getting my position of my hands right, with making sure I had my little 3-prong stand you saw before in exactly the right place so that my painting videos were being consistent. And that's what this has enabled me to do, is have consistency of lighting, of camera angles, of all those things for every single video. So that has been really, really useful, and it just saves that little bit of time at the start of every video. That's not a lot of time, but 30 seconds saved here or there is 30 seconds more painting time we can do, and that consistency in the video I think has definitely for me really helped. So you see the final setup there. Now this is an A0 cutting mat. We'll do some dimensions in a second, so you can get a fairly big cutting mat underneath it. It throws a really good amount of light across the central portion of that mat, and with the streamer support on there, as you see, in its kind of central position, and that is where I've ended up using it fairly permanently. It's a good session there. Now this is my current mat. You see there, the mat has seen much better days. It's getting a bit battered, but the arch itself is in really good condition. A couple of bits of dust and dirt, but nothing too drastic, and it is very good condition apart from pieces falling out. So dimensions, when you look at the width, it is 25 inches across, and it's about 15 inches or 14 inches to the arch under there, so that gives you an idea of the size of the mat you can fit under and the amount of models you can stand up. But it's important to note that it is 10 and a bit inches to actually the bottom of that streamer support, so that kind of limits the height of the models you can do under this, stood up, but obviously you can angle things down under the side. Now with the light switched on, you can see there a lot of light thrown out by these LED beams, really, really powerful, and has the adjuster function on the side. I leave it in permanently and turn it off at the wall, and then just leave it on the same position of lighting. But I have painted 2 little marks on there on the little scrolly wheel, so I can always get the lighting consistent for what I like on the videos. Now dialing up and down, you'll see against the wall there how much light this throws out into the room sideways, and that's definitely something you need to think about if you're in a shared space, because you will throw a lot of light into the room that you're in, and that might annoy someone that you're in the room with, maybe not. So sliding the camera into the position I'm painting. Hopefully this is familiar to you when I'm doing my videos. You can see there, just me messing about with a painting stand just to show you the kind of how I get it, but I get some real consistent positioning, real consistent light onto the models really easy. Now this, I've got a little armature I'll show in a second, and I've panned it back a little bit to show you the little black square at the top is where the camera would normally be, and this is my arm positions whilst I'm painting. So very easy, I get a nice view onto the model. It is quite comfortable, I'm not in an awkward position, and again, desk setup, chair setup, light setup is very important for your hobby life. Just showing you there, I can basically get a brush fully stood upwards if I'm straight underneath the lowest part of that arch. So pretty good, apart from if you're painting massive models, and that's what's made a recent change. Recently I've been painting my Reaver Titan, 40 Reaver Titan, and it would not fit under the hobby arch, so I had to go out and I ordered off Amazon this £14 sort of support here to get the camera in so that I can actually see some of the bigger models. This will basically be coming off my desk again once I've done that Titan, because this arch is good enough for nights, for any big tanks, anything like that. And I've dug out one of my IKEA lamps again to get lighting onto the Titan, and this again will be going back in the garage when I'm done. The second one I actually gave away to a friend who wanted to replace his £6 desk lamp with a normal bulb in. So this is my current hobby table setup. I just thought that was a bit of interest to talk you through the arch. My overall comments, I've really enjoyed painting this for a year. I have no intention of getting rid of this. If there are better lighting solutions out there that you think for, wargamers, give me a ear, let me know about them. I am always up for testing new things. But for me, I would heartily recommend this Greenstuffworld Hobby Arch. A year of use and really enjoying it. No real plans to change. So hope you enjoyed that. See you on another video.